So I have been fascinated by why some people are successful and some are not. Why some people take action and some never get out of the gate. Do you know why that is? Type in the comments below if you want to know why that is. So here is the secret to changing your life on how to achieve any major goal. It's simply this. Ready? You have to decide. That's it. All you have to do is decide that you want to change something in your life right now and that there can be no other option but to change that thing. You have to decide that enough is enough, that any alternative is completely unacceptable, that you cannot be in the same spot this time next year. So if you if you ask a lot of people who have achieved financial freedom, especially with real estate, that's what what we do here, and I asked them, hey, when did you decide to go on this journey? Most of them will remember the exact moment it happened. It's a bizarre thing, and this is why I think that fundamentally that decision point is so unbelievably important. But I remember I was interviewing Brad Tasha a long time ago. Brad Tasha is now one of our coaches, right? He's a full-time investor. He teaches other people how to do a first deal, second deal, third deal, and quit their job, right? I interviewed him on episode 55. So it's michaelblank.com/session 55. But when I asked him this question, he didn't hesitate. And he knew exactly when it happened. He had been on a 10-year retirement plan where his plan was to buy a rental property, one per year, and he was 4 years, I think, at the time that he was into this plan. So he had bought 4 rental properties, one per year. And his daughter, one evening was asking him, hey, will you be around tomorrow? We got to have a recital. And he's, no, honey, I have to work tomorrow. Because he was working like 55 plus hours. He was a project manager at an auto manufacturer at the time. And he goes, no, honey, I have to work. And this happened again the next night and the next night. And she kept asking him to be around the next day. And finally, he decided at that moment that his current plan he was on was no longer acceptable to him. And he decided right there to accelerate that plan. No matter, he didn't really know how. He didn't really know what multifamily. He had heard about it. He didn't really know. All he knew in that particular moment is that enough was enough, and he had decided. Wow. And this is why my favorite quote is a quote by Tony Robbins. Says, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. So I have this on my wall. It's a sign. It's the moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And if you recognize this, you're one of our mentoring students, because I mailed this out to you guys when you joined the mentoring program, which is super cool. And because of this, decision point is so unbelievably important. So it's really that simple. You have to truly decide. Now, some people say they decided, but they haven't actually decided. And it's a darndest thing. And what I've observed is people are actually lying to themselves, and in the process lying to me. But here's some tips. Here's some tips for truly deciding. And then I'm gonna show you some ways you can recognize if you've actually truly decided, because sometimes we think we decide when we actually haven't. But here's how you really truly decide. And the secret really is to burn the boats. Now, it's either figuratively or almost literally. So literally, you quit your job. So as you study people who have quit their jobs, some burn the boats from day one. They haven't done a single deal yet. Others have done a whole bunch of deals and have like $20,000 a month of passive income coming in, but they're like holding on to their W-2 job. They want this giant margin for error before they quit. So it's fascinating to see that spectrum of people. I observe, however, that the people who quit their jobs up front always succeed, because there is no chance, right? Once they quit their job, they're committed. Now, yes, they can always go get a job, but that's not really a plan B. I remember when the restaurants were going really poorly for me in 2013, I was this close to getting a job, and I was like, man, God didn't get me all the way into being a full-time entrepreneur for years, only for me to go back to a job. Like, that didn't seem right to me. And so it was a decision to continue to staying the course, even though I really had no plan for actually generating any kind of income at the time. So burning boats, literally, by quitting your job is super powerful. Now, I don't suggest that for everybody. You got to be right for that. You also need to address your living expenses. People who do that have potentially a working spouse. They have downsized their living expenses. They have savings or a combination thereof, so they have a runway, typically at least 6+ months. So you actually have a chance to succeed with that. So I recommend a year. So people who do that definitely burn the boats. Now, if you're not one of those people, that's fine. Then you have to figuratively burn the boats. What I mean by that is you have to convince yourself that your current situation is completely unacceptable to you. That's what you have to do. You have to tell your spouse this, and you guys have to agree that you cannot be in this same place this time next year. That working the way you're doing right for the next 5 years is completely unacceptable. And essentially, you create yourself no plan B. It's got to be that strong. I've observed that people who have a pretty good life, and they start this journey because, wow, I can't work like this for the next 5 years. But, they have a pretty good job. They have their health, family, nice house. If they fail at your plan A, plan B ain't so bad, is it? And that's a problem. Anytime you want to do anything meaningful in life, lose weight, pursue a better health, better relationships, financial freedom with real estate, anytime you do that, you can't have an acceptable plan B. So those are your tips for truly deciding. Now, how do you know if you've decided? Here's some ways you can recognize that. The best way I've noticed where people decide it is they naturally take action. It simply happens. You don't have to try very hard, because here's the thing. Once you've actually truly decided something, there could be no other outcome but that which you've already decided. The universe just kind of magically hands things to you because you've already decided something is true, even though it hasn't happened yet. And so one of the natural outcomes of that is things do come out of the woodwork. I've observed it over and over again. You can call it stepping out in faith. You can believe in coincidence, I suppose. You can believe in a higher power. I believe this is the way God works. This is the way he, quote, how faith works. You step out on something, all of a sudden, things just happen. And it doesn't happen the other way around. So if things just don't automatically happen, then you step out on faith. No, you step out on faith first, and then things happen. Like, it's unbelievable. It happened over and over again, not just to me, but almost everyone I've observed. So the first thing you do is you take action. You take that step in that direction. All of a sudden, it's almost like you're stepping off a ledge, and you can't see if there's a step beneath, and all of a sudden a step appears. And you're like, whoa, but you didn't know that up front. That's kind of how it is. It's a really, you should test this phenomenon. So one way is that you're simply taking natural action. The other one is that you're making the time. People complain all about, I don't have the time. Well, really, time is only really an extension of priorities. Are your priorities in line, right? If it's something really, really important, you're going to make the time, right? If you're driving go to work and that's your biggest thing, and you get in an accident, guess what? Work all of a sudden is no longer your priority. You all of a sudden making time to go to the hospital. That's funny how that works. So people who have decided make it a priority and they make the time. They're also, number 3, not making any excuses. Not any excuses. There's no place for that. If you're truly decided, you're not making excuses. Okay? I'm not saying it's easy, but these are people who are not making excuses because they're simply acting out that which you've already declared is going to be true. And the other thing is you're really committed to doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes. That's something I really learned with Hal Elrod, who spoke at Dealmaker Live a few weeks ago in his book, The Miracle Equation, which I highly recommend that you read. Write it down. The Miracle Equation by Hal Elrod. He really talks about a whole new way of approaching goals, which is to commit to the outcome but not to the time frame. Wow, how liberating is that? So people who have decided have committed to the outcome, not so much to the time frame. So you're going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. There can be no other option. That's really the secret to making true decisions, and definitely read that book by Hal Elrod called The Miracle Morning. So let me ask you this, guys. This is where I want to hear from you. Have you decided? Let me know on Instagram. I'm @TheMichaelBlanc, and I'm also on Facebook. There is my private group is called the Apartment Investor Network. Just get in there. We have over 5,000 people on there. Great discussion. We have a lot of our senior advisors in there. It's a great way to have a discussion. If you're in our Dealmakers Mastermind program, it's $50 a month, and it's a super focused community. You can find more about that on the Michael Blanc /DMM for Dealmaker Mastermind. Whatever your online community is in our world, it's our Facebook group or the DMM, post in there, have you decided? Yes or no. Now, if no, that's fine. Say, hey, look, I haven't decided, I'm not sure. At least that's honest. Or have you decided? And then tell me the next 3 things that you're going to do. What are the next 3 things that you're going to do? So have you decided, and what are the next 3 things that you're going to do? So hopefully this combination of truly deciding, of boiling it down to the essence, helps you achieve any major goal in your life. All right, now, before you go, make sure you download this free ebook. Okay, super important. Subscribe to my channel. We're putting stuff out every single week. And hey, check out this other video.